Now, inflation in the United Kingdom has risen to above 10% for the second time this year as families face yet another huge increase in food prices amid the cost of living crisis. The latest figures from the Office for National Statistics, so i.e. they are official grown-up proper figures, show that the consumer price index rose to 10.1% last month, and the prices for food and drink were the sharpest rising factor in that index. So how are businesses coping with those soaring rises in prices themselves, as well as the impact they're having on you as their beloved customers? I am delighted to welcome back to the programme Hugh Osmond, the founder of Punch Taverns and a man who knows as much about the economy and food and drink and retailing as any I know. And there he is. Great to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Did it surprise you that food was the frightening headline within those frightening inflation numbers?
No, it doesn't. Obviously, we're at quite the sharp end of that. So we see the seafood prices and supply price increase is pretty early on. So we've been seeing this for some time. And to be honest, it was obvious it was going to happen, from the sharp rises in commodity prices, going back several months ago. So, this storm of inflation across utilities and food and what have you is eminently foreseeable and has been coming, for some time. And it has now struck, and it is pretty serious. It's pretty serious for the hospitality industry. It's pretty serious for the person shopping at the supermarket. It is, pretty much across the board. And it's going to be a very scary few months, I think, for a lot of people, a lot of hospitality businesses, but a lot of people who just have to buy food and drink and what have you in supermarkets too.
Very crisp analysis, and exactly why I was hoping that my team could persuade you to come on, because I'm looking at you as someone who runs a business or series of businesses, employs people, reliant upon customers like me and other people. But I'm also looking at someone who's got to pay their food bill and employs staff who've got to pay their food bills as well. If you get hit as an employer and as an entrepreneur and a business person, the bottom line is you're going to have to start closing places down or lay people off. That's what the state of the economy is really so worrying about, is it not?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think that, I've been in hospitality through previous recessions, and I wouldn't say that means that we know how to cope, because every kind of recession and financial crisis manages to have its own characteristics and be different. But, we're well enough funded and we've been around long enough that we will survive. It is independent owner operators who don't have reserves who are getting absolutely caned by this. And I'm not sure how a lot of them will get through the next 6 months if things carry on as they are, which I'm afraid they will.
Yeah.
So,
interesting you referring to previous recessions, which both of us can remember. What do you make, Hugh, of the current political class, the leadership and the shenanigans that are going on at the moment to lead the Conservative Party and, by dint of that, to lead the country in terms of dealing with that cost of living crisis? And if you were giving them a management review, how would they score?
They wouldn't be in my management, so they wouldn't get a score. But joking apart, I think that the first thing to realise is that the crisis in hospitality, the crisis in the economy, the financial crisis that the Bank of England had to respond to, and the inflationary crisis. The main reason for that, this is nothing as such to do with the mini budget. The main cause, the absolute main cause of this crisis is the response to COVID, shutting down the economy for the thick end of 2 years on and off and spending 500 billion, £500 billion spending on this response while people didn't work. That was always going to have consequences. And it's like going out for the evening, and you have a drink too many, and a number of your friends say don't have another drink, but you stay out and you stay out. When you wake up in the morning with the mother of all hangovers, you've earned it, and you're going to have to pay the price. And there are things that you can do to help with that hangover. You can take an aspirin, or you can go for a run or walk outside, or whatever it is. But ultimately, you can't get rid of the hangover because you earned it. You were out. And if you spend £500 billion and tell the country to stop working for 2 years, and you blow up all the supply chains, and you stop production of lots of things, and you do all that stuff, then when you reopen the economy, having spunked 500 billion, £500 billion, you are going to get inflation. You are going to get supply shortages. You are going to get supply chain disruption. You are going to get disruption to the NHS, and you are going to have worker shortages. And we have now got all of those things, and we are paying the price for that thing. And it is often ignored. It's blamed on Ukraine. It's blamed on this or that. But the ultimate problem was that we spent money we could not afford on dealing with COVID. We couldn't afford it.